Hey everybody, Judy Seeker here, your host of the Ozone Therapy Summit. So glad to have you guys back. We are on day 4. And so as a traditional naturopath, I have been in this, like I say, over 30 years now, and I'm now retired. I'm just teaching this stuff online for you guys to show you the power of detox. That is my specialty and what I've really gotten down. But what I'm finding is that's difficult is for you to understand is how detox and ozone have to go together to give you the best results. So many of you are frustrated that you're not getting the results that you want. And it's because you're relying on just supplements and foods, which are good. And that is a nice foundation. But you really need to use therapies at this point to get you to the next level in your healing. So the ozone therapy is being taken care of by all our great experts from people who have been doing this for over 30 years, most of them, and have seen the successes with ozone therapy. But when you combine it with detox, it is a powerful, powerful combination. I really want you guys to understand that. And so in this day, we're going to go into a little bit more detail about doing the colon and liver detox. And the reason I want to go into that is because these are the two main systems in your body. You have 5 elimination channels, right? You have your skin, your lungs, your kidneys, your colon, your liver. But here's the deal is when you are focused on the colon and liver, how can I put that? When you focus on the colon first and the liver, then it's just, first of all, it's easier to do, but it's a way that as the ozone is clearing out the toxins, it goes through your colon, and then your liver has less stress to filter because that little 3-pound organ on the right side of your body has over 500 functions. But when it has too much going on, too much to filter out, it just gets overwhelmed. Really, it's over. I always say the liver is overworked and underpaid, and it gets inflamed. There's pain. A lot of times people get gallstones. A lot of times there's fatigue. All those things. But it's simply because the liver is just not able to function at top-notch capacity. So when you do something like ozone, which goes after those pathogens, it's putting even more stress on the liver. And then as it's trying to get rid of it, it's saying, I can't deal with it. The colon is backed up, and then it comes up, and then you get nauseous and even vomit, and that's not a fun thing. The worst situation I ever had was in my first year in my clinic in Wisconsin, and I felt really bad because I just was following what I had learned in school, which was make them drink 1 cup of olive oil, followed by 1 cup of lemon juice, and then do colonics, right? And the colonic was the easy part. I mean, they came into my clinic and I did it. Well, there's one woman, her name was Debbie. I never forgot her. Wonderful, wonderful person that was very, very toxic and very sick. And she was young. She was in her 30s, and she was an esthetician, meaning she did facials for women. And she was frustrated because she just was always tired, really dragging, and I mean, horribly low energy, not sleeping well, pain. And she just knew something had to change. Otherwise, she was going to be in trouble. So she came to my clinic, and I did what I was taught in school. And I told her, yeah, do the colonic, but do your 1 cup of olive oil and 1 cup of lemon juice. She was throwing up all night. She came in the next morning. And I said, so how did you do? She didn't look too good. She looked a little bit rough. And she said, I was throwing up all night. And I was like, no, really? And she said, yeah, but it's okay because it's all coming out, and I'm glad it's coming out. And I'm like, all right, well, all right. And I'm racking my brains trying to figure out what else to do for her. Came back the next day and I said, so how did you sleep? And how did you do the next? And she said, oh yeah, I was throwing up again, literally all night. I mean, just hour after hour, just dry heaves, and really, really, I mean, this woman was very, very toxic. And I'm like, this is not good. And I was worried about her. She didn't have diarrhea, just that she was getting so tired. She said, no, it's good. I know we're going to work through this, and this is good. I'm getting rid of the toxins. And I'm like, why are you coming back? And she said, because I know that no matter what, you're going to help me get rid of these toxins and get me to my next level of healing. And that trust, I took that very seriously. That trust was a huge honor for me. And I took that very seriously. So I'm calling up my teachers. I'm calling up people that I know in the industry. This was already over 20 years ago, and saying, what else do I need to do? And they taught me, and lo and behold, I did it with Debbie. And next thing you know, she felt better. She, in a very short time, like within a day or two, her system calmed down. She didn't have the nausea anymore and all that. So that's what I'm going to walk you through. What did we do for Debbie that you could do that you don't get such severe reactions? There's no reason to have severe detox reactions at all. And that's because when you know what you're doing, you're going to feel a whole heck of a lot better. And it's just a matter of giving your body the tools that it needs to do so that it detoxes gently with less stress, that's easy on your system. And that way you don't have any of these issues like Debbie did, right? We don't want you to be puking on the bathroom floor all night long. That is not a fun thing, but she did it, man. And she really came out on the other side flying colors. So that's what I want for you guys. And so let's talk about the colon detox and the liver, because that's really the two organs that we need to focus on as we're going through this combination with the ozone therapy. So first off, nobody has a healthy colon, ever. I've never, ever, one of my teachers, Dr. Bernard Jensen, world-renowned nutritionist and healer, said the same thing. And he had done tens of thousands more people than I have. And all the people that I know in this industry who focus on the colon and liver have said the same thing. And my example is when Linda came in and I saw her x-ray. She brought in the x-ray because of something with her back. And I don't read x-rays. I'm a naturopath. We're not trained for that. And yet I saw something there. Her colon was all convoluted, twisted. It looked like a big bowl of spaghetti. And I noticed this, like a little train track of little supplements in her colon. It looked like a little train track. And as I'm looking at the x-ray, I said, well, Linda, I don't really know what to tell you about your low back pain, but how many vitamins do you take? She said, oh, I don't take anything except Centrum, a multivitamin. How often have you been taking? She says, oh, every day for years. I just keep taking Centrum. And I'm like, that's all you take? She said, yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're all stuck in here. And so as we did the colonic and cleansed her out and did the food and all that stuff, it cleared out, and she lost weight. Her low back pain went away. She felt like $1 million, right? It's crazy. I have seen so many things in people's colon. It's not funny. So let's get you going on cleansing the colon, right? So first off, I'm going to say this again, that you cannot cleanse your colon without doing either a coffee enema or a colonic by a professional colon hydrotherapist. If you've never ever done this, it's a great idea to go to a professional colon hydrotherapist. So where do you find them? You could go to, here in the United States, they have something called the Natural Awakenings magazine. It's a free publication at many of the health food stores. And in the back, they have a directory with colon hydrotherapies listed locally. That's one of the easy ways to do it. Another way is to go online and you go to I-ACT, I believe it's .org. It's the International Academy of Colon Hydrotherapists. And there again, you could look it up and see who the colon therapists are in your area. And that's a great way to go. I used to be a colon hydrotherapist back in the day, and I used to spend a lot of time in that room massaging people's colon, working their colon, and getting everything cleaned out. And bar none, they all felt better. And it was a matter of doing it for 7 days, where we did the detox with the colon and liver cleanse. So that's what I want for you guys. I want you to get the colon hydrotherapy if you can. Let me get my notes here. So I have this here. Here we go. The colon hydrotherapy is the best because it works the whole 5 or 6 feet of your colon. If you want to do the coffee enema because it's cheaper, easier, more convenient, that's fine too, but you're not going to cleanse the colon like you can with the colon hydrotherapy, just saying. All right. So in order to, let's walk through the preparation for the colon and what that all entails. First of all, the first thing you want to do is what I call the psyllium mix. Psyllium is an herb that when you add water to it, the little tiny herb actually swells up, and it becomes like if you look at it under a microscope, it has little tiny, like it looks like as fiber hair on the ends of the outer edges of the herb itself. And that just means that it's extra fiber, like little scrubbing bubbles that goes in and cleanses out the intestinal walls of the colon. Very safe, very gentle, very easy to use. And so what you do is you're going to take a teaspoon of psyllium, starting out, let's do a teaspoon. And you want psyllium, the psyllium husk. You do not want psyllium powder. Psyllium powder means it's already been crushed, and the fiber, the little hair fiber on the herb is not going to be as strong and as effective as the husk. So you want psyllium husk. And then you're going to take a teaspoon and put it in room temperature water. Very important. If you put it in cold water, like I was taught in school, they taught me all this hardcore stuff that doesn't, it's just stressful. I don't know what it is that I don't want you to be stressed out. So we're going to make it easier. So room temperature purified water, and you mix the teaspoon of psyllium in there vigorously to get the lumps out, right? And then you drink it really, really fast. Why? Because if you don't drink it fast, and if you keep it in the glass of water, it will turn to Jello. Looks just like Jello. It's just exactly like Jello. Those who remember Jello, it's like a little gel mass, right? And that's not fun to eat. So some people like it, some people do, but very, very few. So basically you want it to go into your system. Now, a couple of things. I personally have a high gag reflex. So I feel for the people who are like me, who are like, I can't drink this stuff. So what I do is I add maybe like just a little tiny, like a tablespoon of pure, 100% pure grape juice. The grape juice gives it a little flavor, so it's easier to get down. That's the baby in me, and maybe the baby in you, and that's all good. It doesn't hurt anything. Some people want to use fresh lemon water because they've already had the lemon. That's fine. Some people use a little bit of pineapple juice. I know when I went to a detox center, therapy center in Thailand, in Koh Samui, Thailand, a couple of years ago, that's what they did. They offered it with either pineapple juice, lemon, or grape, and I always like the grape. So that's something to help with the flavor. And so you're going to drink it down, and you're going to get the glass. It's 8 ounces of water with a teaspoon of psyllium husk. Mix it vigorously. You could add a little grape juice if you want, but mix it vigorously and shoot it down. Now, what's important is right after that, drink another glass of water. Why? Because again, the psyllium expands, it swells, and we want the ability for that psyllium to work, and we want it to be nice and soft and swelling up to scrub out the intestinal walls. All right. So it's very important that you have that extra. So that's why you're not going to be hungry during your 3-day detox. That I could tell you, my friend, because you're going to be like, wow, I have the almond milk with the green powder, and I have the vegetable juice, and I have this psyllium thing, and oh my goodness. And so you feel quite full. So go ahead and drink that. Now, how many times in a day? If you could do 3 times a day, like in the morning, a couple times, lunchtime, afternoon, that's fine. It's better to do it 3 times. Now, again, when I was at the therapy, the detox in Thailand, they made us do it 5 times a day, which is how I did it in my clinic as well. I did it 5 times a day, but that's a lot of psyllium. That's like a lot of psyllium. And so you might not be able to do that. So 3 is the minimum, 5 is the max. And so if you ask me, because I get this question a lot, Well, how do I squeeze in all these other liquids because I'm too full? I get that. So just do what you can. So the psyllium is the most important. And so if you have just maybe half a glass of carrot juice and a half a glass of the green powder smoothie and a half a glass, you could cut down on the other liquids because the other liquids are for nutrients, for density, right? But we're looking to detox you. So the emphasis is colon, liver, colon, liver. Those are your two organs that we're cleansing and focusing on. Everything else is just an added benefit, right? Again, when I did my therapy in my clinic, that's all I focused on. That's all they got. They got vegetable juice and the colon drink, the psyllium drink, and the liver drink. That's it. But you could have the opportunity of drinking other things like the juices, the coconut water, the shake, all that stuff. Okay, so that's your main focus with that. Now, the other part of this, so there's part A where we're drinking the psyllium drink, right? Part B is you have to have it with your herb, your colon herb, that is going to tickle your small intestine to move. We're going to get that peristalsis movement going again. The challenge is that every single person, just about that I know, that has not ever done a detox has impacted colon of some kind. They have either polyps, diverticuli, strictures, all different kinds of impaction. And that's where we have problems with constipation, diarrhea. Diarrhea is just another form of constipation, actually. And so there is an issue there that the colon is not moving, the peristalsis has stopped, especially when we get over 45, although I'm seeing it now in younger folks as well. 20 and 30-year-olds are having trouble. I had a client who was in her 20s, beautiful young woman, and she had not had a bowel movement for 6 weeks and was in a lot of pain. And she had a flat belly. That was very interesting, but she was impacted and could not have a bowel movement. And so I told her what to do, and she just started getting cramps. And she said, "This is too hard, and I'm worried, and I don't want to do this." So she went to the doctor, and they removed her colon, like a large part of it. And I'm like, boy, in your 20s and you have your colon removed, that's pretty sad. Instead of taking the herbs and doing a few coffee enemas. But that's the way it is, right? And we want to focus on preventing that kind of scenario. And in order to do that, it's super, super easy. Just taking a few herbs and taking a few drinks. All right. So the warning is that you will have some cramping. Especially if you've had problems with constipation. I know I certainly have had problems with constipation most of my life. And it's just something that the peristalsis has always been on the weak side, something I have to work on. Now, can you get addicted to these herbs? Not in 3 days, right? I do recommend taking them after if you want to continue having good bowel movements. It's not addictive. It's just, it's food addictive. You need to have it, right? And so sometimes we have weak areas in our body. And if we need to have a little extra fiber because we're not taking enough, then what's a little bit of psyllium? It's an herb. It's a food, So I don't ever see anybody being addicted to it. It's fine. And it's not harmful. So with the psyllium mix, you're going to start out with 2 capsules of we'll call them colon herbs. There's actually in your download here, we're going to talk about which are the herbs that you actually need. It's Cascara sagrada mixed with a couple of other herbs that you could pick up at the health food store. But it's really, really easy to take, and there's no repercussions. So start out with 2, and every time you drink your psyllium mix, right, your teaspoon of water, mix in water, you take 2 capsules, right, and you should have a bowel movement. Now, if you don't, the next day, if you don't have a natural good bowel movement, then what you want to do is add another colon herb, so you have 3. And then and if you don't have a bowel movement on your own the 3rd day, then add 4. Eventually, you're going to have a good bowel movement. Now, in my clinic, I had a woman who really struggled, really struggled. She looked like she was 5 months pregnant, and she was always constipated, had a lot of tension that she was holding in her gut. And she was trying different diets and exercise and all these things, and just nothing was working. I had her up to about 20 colon capsules before she had a bowel movement. But did she have one? Yeah. And she had massive bowel movements, and she felt great, because then as they cleared out, then she leveled out and was able to have regular bowel movements, right? So sometimes it takes that little extra. Now, you probably won't end up taking 20 colon herbs. You probably just end up taking that 2, 3, or 4, and that's it, and you'll be good. So again, the question is, well, do I need to be near the bathroom? The main thing I say is the bowel movements are not the issue so much as you have to urinate a whole lot more because you're drinking so much liquid. That is an issue, that you're going to be staying at home and needing to urinate. So be near the bathroom for your times where you need to take a pee. So here's the deal. The issue with the colon is the psyllium mix with the colon capsules, and then you take that 3 times a day throughout the day, and that would be an ideal scenario. Okay, if you want to take more, that's fine too. So that's the colon. All right, now let's get into the liver flush. Okay, so there's 2 parts to the liver cleanse. There's the A, where we're taking the tea, the liver tea, the dandelion root tea, and then the second part is the liver flush drink. All right, again, very, very simple to do. So let's talk about the tea. We talked about the dandelion root tea. Super easy to do. You take 2 tablespoons of the dandelion root, and you put it in a quart-sized glass jar. You boil a quart of water, pour that into the glass jar with the dandelion root. That's it. And then you put the cover on it and you let it sit there overnight. Okay, so it's nice to do it at nighttime. Or if you do it in the morning, you could just let it sit there about 4 hours. That's the ideal. All right. And why do we do this extra? It's called the decoction. Why do we do this extra step with it? Why can't we just take a couple of tea bags and pour some water and drink it? Well, you can, but it's not going to be strong enough to stimulate the liver and help the liver to detox. All right. And again, we want the best for your liver, and that's the way to do it. All right. It's very simple. Is you adding the water to the dandelion root, letting it sit there and letting the water to really extract the nutrients out of the dandelion root is invaluable for your liver. Your liver will be so happy. Now, it is a little on the bitter side, and bitter is good. I always say bitter is better, because that's something that stimulates your palate, and it eventually stimulates your liver to release the toxins and be like a tonic to your liver. Actually, dandelion root has many qualitative properties to it, to cleansing the blood, stimulating the liver, bile flow, many great qualitative properties to dandelion root. And so having that little bitterness, we tend to love our sugar, our sweets, and our salty foods, but and sour, we don't really eat that much, and for sure bitter, right? So this 3-day detox is a great time to stimulate your liver to release the toxins and get the whole system moving, and increases the appetite and helps you digestion. Many of you email me and say, oh, I'm always having problems with gas and bloating and digestion. And you try to do a clean diet or a leaky gut diet and trying to clean up your system, which is fine. But dandelion root is one of the easiest ways to clean it up and get your digestive system going. So the tea, you make the quart tea, right? And you have the tea that's been made. And then throughout the day, 1 or 2 cups you could have like mid-morning or afternoon. And then in the next day, you could have another 2 cups, and you make it for the 3rd day, and that's fine. Now, a couple things on that. You don't ever want to microwave it to heat it up. Ever. No microwaving. Just get rid of that microwave. Throw it to the curb. Not a good thing. It destroys the molecular structure of whatever it's heating up, and it becomes dead food. So here we are trying to do something live for your body that's something healthy, and we don't want to mess that up. So don't use a microwave to heat things up. If you want to reheat the tea, you could put it back on the stove and heat it up just a little bit. That's fine. But really, you could just leave it on the counter, and after you strain it, just drink down a cup of tea, and that's it. For the next day, if you want to keep it in the refrigerator, that's fine. And then take it out during the day to have it room temperature. That's the way you want to have it, right? So that's the liver tea. You want to have a couple of cups a day. It's very nice to have even after your detox, that's fine. But having it for those 3 days is very important, right? Now, that's part A. And part B is where we're going to talk about the liver flush drink. So liver flush drink, I touched on this a little bit the other episode, is where we're actually stimulating the bile flow in the liver and gallbladder, and that whole, the synergy of getting things moving. There's sludge in the gallbladder a lot of times when I work with people, and that sludge then could form into stones. I know I certainly had them. And it's simply because the liver is not breaking down the fats properly, not breaking down the foods properly, not filtering properly. And the gallbladder, it takes a hit. It doesn't have the liquid that needs to release. And next thing you know, things start forming, gets inflamed, and now you have pain, you have issues. And again, your liver is getting overworked. So what can you do? It's called a liver flush drink. We've been, as a naturopath, been doing this for years, and it's very simple to do. You don't have to do like I made poor Debbie do, one cup of olive oil with 1 cup of lemon juice. We're going to have you do just a small amount. So taking fresh grapefruit juice. Now, people ask me all the time, well, can I use oranges or orange juice? Not really. It's not a good idea because that's a little bit too mucus forming. I encourage you to use grapefruit juice. Fresh grapefruit, of course, is best. If you need to buy grapefruit juice, then you have to buy it. But take a fresh whole grapefruit and squeeze it out and put it in your blender. And then you're going to add 3 tablespoons of olive oil, put it in the blender, and then you could add some more lemon to it. So how much lemon? Half a lemon is fine to start out with. Just take a fresh lemon, cut it in half, squeeze it in the blender. So you have a whole grapefruit, you have half a lemon, you have 3 tablespoons of extra virgin organic olive oil. That's the best. And put in your blender. And you could add a little bit of fresh ginger if you want to. Not important, not necessary. It's just some people like that it helps for digestive system, right? So go ahead and do that. Add that all in there. And then blend it. You whip it up for a few seconds. And the key here, this is the key point I want you to understand. When you drink this, do it right before bed. Right before bed. This is a trick that all naturopaths who've been in it as long as I have, over 30 years, we all know this, is you drink it right before bed. Why? Because we want that the grapefruit and the lemon and the olive oil to be working on the liver to squeeze it. The olive oil actually goes in there and squeezes and pushes and forces the liver to work on that olive oil, but the lemon and grapefruit helps to demulsify or break down the fat and squeeze through and cleanse it. I can't explain that feeling. It's just such a relief when that liquid goes in your system. It actually tastes really good as well. So you drink it and then you do it right before bed, and it's just 1 cup, maybe a cup. Now, if you don't have a cup, because sometimes grapefruits are small, sometimes lemon is small, add a little bit of water to make 8 ounces. All right. So you have 8 ounces of this, you mix it all up and you drink it down really fast right before, and then you go to bed and then you go to sleep. If you can lay on your right side, it gives a little bit more emphasis for the liver, but try to lay still, just relax and don't go to the bathroom or anything like that as long as you possibly can. Why? Because it just gets that the working of that your body's relaxed, it's focused on the detox, and your liver gets the opportunity to do that. Now, those of you who argue and say, well, I could take an herb for that and all that. Well, you can, I know when I was taught by Dr. John Christopher, he was big on taking the liver tonic herbs and the colon herbs, but we have found that by drinking this, it really helps. Although he was the one who also said, drink a cup of this and a cup of that. So we don't need to go that much. Now, that's the first night. So Friday night, you're going to do 3 tablespoons of olive oil in the grapefruit, in the lemon, and if you're going to add ginger and all that. The next night, add 4 tablespoons of olive oil. Why? Because we're trying again to push a little bit, get that, here the ozone therapy is getting rid of the toxins, but now we want something to push it out even more and get it to stimulate it, right? So add the 4th tablespoon of olive oil to the blend mix the next night. If you wake up the next day and you're fine, then you're fine. But if you feel a little nauseous, then just stay at 4. But the 3rd night, I want you to do this for 3 nights in a row. The 3rd night, go ahead and add another one. So now you're up to 5 tablespoons of olive oil. And that's usually about the time when people are feeling a little bit nauseous or whatever. And that just means it's a little bit much for your liver and your colon's not quite cleaned out. And so it's time to just sit back and relax, right? Nothing's going to happen. I've never seen anybody get really sick on even 5 tablespoons of olive oil. Never say never. I know sometimes people are extremely toxic nowadays and things could happen. I totally get it. So there's always a disclaimer that if things happen to you, it's not going to hurt you, but you might not feel good and you'll get over it by the next day. You'll be fine. If that happens, just go ahead and drink some more lemon water. Afterward, just water with some lemon, and that will help to get rid of that nauseous feeling. But the colonic will help as well. So as we put it all together now, right? And we'll go through this tomorrow as well with more of our planning. But as the evening goes, we're going to have the dry skin brushing with a detox bath, hydrotherapy if we're going to do that with a salt scrub, and then the liver flush drink, the coffee enema with the liver flush drink is the last thing that you do, right? So that's a good couple of hours that you're just focusing on the evening. It's like a whole little routine, a health healing routine that you're going to do. And that's it. And you'll see that as you do all the different things, each thing will make you more relaxed, more relaxed, more relaxed. That by the time you go to bed, you sleep. Just about everybody tells me how well they sleep when they're doing the 3-day detox. First of all, you're not digesting food, so you're allowing your digestive system to rest. Second, you're doing things to help your colon move to get rid of the toxins. So when that releases, then you don't have all that buildup. And then you have something to help your liver to detox and stimulate and get rid of the things that it's been struggling to filter out from your body. Great combination. You really see the difference. And being in the bath and relaxing and doing the dry skin, everything relaxes you. It's a really nice feeling. And I know that you're going to see the difference. All right. Again, do as much as you can, but focus on colon, liver, colon, liver, colon, liver, and tell us how it goes. Love to hear from you. All right. Next, and the last day, we're going to put it all together. What do you do now to put this whole ozone therapy and the detox together so it's practical, it's doable, and you feel good about it? So we'll see you on the next episode.